Hey, family, I just wanted to talk to you about circumcision. So, in 2007, the World Health Organization published a study that they had done about circumcision. They went around the whole world interviewing, surveying millions of people to find out who was circumcising and who was not, and study how that correlates with the HIV transmission rates. And indeed, they did find that in places where circumcision was strictly adhered to, the HIV rates were lower than in places where there was no circumcision, especially in Africa. Now, what's interesting about this study is that it actually points to the children of Yassara, Israel, right? In the study, they found that the majority of the world's males do not circumcise. About 70% do not circumcise, and 30% circumcise. Now, among those circumcising, the majority of them were circumcising based on religion. So you have Islam and Judaism. They found that most of Europe, most of Asia, most of Southern America do not circumcise. In North America, it was a mixed results. Some circumcise and some don't. In Africa, you have those in the northern part who predominantly circumcise because of Islam. And then you have those in the eastern part, southern part, and central part, and West Africa who predominantly circumcise as a tradition. It was inherited from generation to generation. Now, those in Eastern Africa and southern parts of Southern Africa and Central Africa typically circumcise within adolescence, so from age 12 and on, just like those circumcising because of Islam, they do adolescent circumcision. Now, the ones in Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, and Central Africa, it's a coming of age tradition. So they lead the boys into the bush, teach them some wisdom and how to be a man. And circumcision crowns it as the true test of masculinity. So it's a puberty rite for them. Now, in West Africa, you have those who circumcise because of tradition. However, they circumcise in infancy and latest by toddlerhood. And such is the case for the Eves, the Gans, the Igbos, the Yorubas, and some others. Now, within that group, you have those who circumcise precisely on the eighth day and do their naming on the eighth day of life. And that is the Ewe people and the Gan people. We circumcise on the eighth day and do the naming on the eighth day of life as well. We call in Evegbe, we call the naming Vihehedego. That just means introduce, bringing the child outside. Okay, so meaning up until that time, the child will not be much exposed to the world or to the elements. All right. Now, it is important to note that the naming and the circumcision being done on the eighth day is an ancient biblical tradition. And this tradition was performed for Yesu, who you know as either Jesus Christ or Yeshua in Evegbe. We say Yesu traditionally, and also Yeshua is Yashiwa in Evegbe as well. So let's see where we can find this custom in the Bible. We find it in Luke chapter 2, verse 21. And this is about the circumcision and naming of Yesu. It says, "And when 8 days were accomplished for the circumcising of the child, his name was called Yesu, which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb." Did you catch that? So when 8 days were accomplished for the circumcision, it was time to circumcise the child Yesu. They called him, they named him Yesu. They named him Yesu, right? Or Yeshua. They named him on that same day. So circumcision and naming occurred on the same day, on the eighth day, which is a tradition that continues till today among the children of ancient Israel. among the descendants of ancestor Jacob. Mm? All right. Thank you and stay blessed. Yayiranami.